Hey YouTube, how you doing today? Welcome back to FoxtrotTalks. Today I wanted to start a new series which I haven't named yet, but it might be called Science Talks. That sounds pretty good. Where I'm going to relay interesting news stories that I've found to you guys. And in honor of doing that, I've dug out my old lab coat and I found my cool new science shirt which says, "Never trust an atom because they make up everything." So, without further ado, let's see what kind of stories we're going to run into today. So, today we've got a new treatment for those addicted to opiate drugs. We've got scientists who managed to delete HIV from infected mice, and a new tip to help you remember things. So, the US Food and Drug Administration has recently allowed the use of an implantable version of the drug Buprenorphine for patients who are addicted to opiates. So opiates, if you don't know, are pain-relieving drugs such as morphine and oxycodone that are very addictive. So this addiction has led to problems of trying to get people off of the drugs. And one way researchers have found to do this is to use the implant I mentioned before of buprenorphine. So this implant provides constant low doses of the drug in patients who have already used buprenorphine as part of their complete addiction treatment program. This helps reduce opiate withdrawal symptoms, as well as desire to use, and avoids the highs and lows associated with opiate use and misuse. So the implant doesn't provide the user with more opiates, but rather it provides a way to decrease the pleasurable effects of wanting to use them in a hope that they will no longer want to abuse opiate drugs. So previously, buprenorphine was used as a dissolvable patch that you either put in the cheek or under the tongue, or a pill. Now, these methods were difficult for patients to remember to use, as well as they could be lost. So this implant removes both of those barriers, as you can't forget to take it because it's inside of you acting all the time, and it'll never get lost because, again, it's implanted inside of you. So the implant is implanted in the arm of the patient and releases constant low doses for 6 months. Researchers are optimistic that this will be a big part of a complete addiction treatment program for patients. So our next story comes from Temple University, Philadelphia, where researchers were able to remove the HIV-1 genome from the DNA of mice. So in case you didn't know, the way the HIV virus works is that it injects its genetic material into a cell, and then that genetic material is incorporated via viral enzymes into the host DNA. Now, the reason it does this is because most viruses, HIV included, don't have their own replication machinery, so they can't replicate on their own. So by incorporating into the host genome, it can use the host's replication machinery to make more viruses. Because of this incorporation into the host genome, viruses are really hard to treat, because the only way to really clear a virus from a system is to remove the DNA from the cell. Now, this is exactly what researchers did using a model from bacteria. Now, what the bacteria do is once they're infected with the virus and the viral DNA that's been injected has been detected, it has a defense system that recognizes the viral DNA and then cuts it, thereby destroying the DNA and preventing infection from a virus. So using this bacteria model, researchers created a molecule that will bind to the HIV-1 genome in the host's DNA, and then recruit enzymes that will cause double-stranded breaks in the DNA, thereby removing the HIV-1 genome from the host. Now the cell needs to repair the DNA, and fortunately it has the machinery to do that. So once the HIV genome is removed from the host, the cell can fix itself and put its DNA back together. So this research is very promising and is a big step forward for treating those infected with HIV. Now, the researchers did point out some problems involved with the process, including the fact that the HIV virus is very prone to mutations, which means its gene segments could be changed, which means your guide molecule to first identify it would have to be changed. Another big problem is that HIV infects a lot of different kinds of cells, so you'd have to be able to use this technique on a host which has a whole bunch of different cells and not affect normal healthy cells. So although the research is promising, it's still a long way from being clinically ready. So our last story of the day is going to try and help you remember everything we talked about today. Researchers have found that there's a link between properly timed exercise and your ability to remember things. So what researchers did is they took 72 people and had them memorize 90 images on a TV screen. After this test, they had participants either watch a relaxing nature video or exercise on a stationary bike. Now, the exercise group was broken into two separate groups. There was one group who exercised immediately after doing the memory test, and another group that exercised 4 hours after the test. The exercise was repetitive, easy, and hard cycling for 35 minutes. So comparing the three groups of those who watched the nature video, those who exercised immediately after, and those who exercised 4 hours after, researchers found that those who exercised 4 hours after doing the memory test had a better memory of the test and scored higher on it. So what this means is that next time you learn something, you need to go and exercise 4 hours after. If that's not motivation to exercise, I don't know what is. Now, researchers can't really explain the connection between remembering and exercise, but you should probably go test it out on your own and see how well it works. I mean, it couldn't hurt, right? Okay guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below about what you thought of the articles we talked about today. And remember, if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next episode.